Hello, Tamily. Hi. Good morning, or afternoon, or evening. So, I'm taking over Tampa Suzanne's Instagram today. She had to join a call, so I am doing Icy's interview. So, let me see here if I can join. Let's see. Hi, Icy. This is, y'all have to stick with me because this is not my, there we go. I think I just, Suzanne is the master interviewer here with Ask Tamily, and I'm like behind the scenes. So, hi!
Hi. Oh, it's really quiet.
Oh, is it?
Hold on, I'm turning it up. Oh, there's my hand, everybody.
That's okay. Good morning. It's so nice to meet you.
I can barely hear you. Is that normal?
I don't know.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Huh.
Let me try and turn my volume up. Is that better?
A little bit. Is it all the way up?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me stop my hand for a minute.
Okay.
All the way up. Okay, well, I'll just do my best.
Okay, I'll talk really loud. Can everybody else hear me?
I can't hear. It's like I can't hear you at all.
Oh, you can't?
I mean, it's no.
Not at all?
I can hear you, and I can read your lips.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't want that. So let me, okay. Hi, Miriam. I'm so glad you could join us. Okay, so Miriam can hear us, so let me, we can hear you both.
Hold on, let me see if there's something I can do. It's so quiet. I really can't hear you. I don't know what to do.
Let's see. I don't either because I was just explaining that Suzanne is the master of this.
It's getting louder now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, is it because our speakers are on the bottom of our phone?
Probably. I'll just hold my phone.
Huh?
I'll just hold my phone. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
Let's see. It said, somebody asked if you're on a computer or a phone.
I'm on a phone.
Okay, me too. I'm going to close it out and I'm going to invite you and maybe that'll help.
Okay. I'll close out too. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So I think you're covering your microphone. So maybe that's the thing. Turn landscape. I'll try that too. Okay. So, don't cover that. Thanks, guys, for sticking with me. There's always something. There's Icy ad. Did that work? Now I can't hear you.
So I can hear you, and then when we connect, then the volume goes away.
Okay. So
now I can hear you.
Oh, you can?
Okay, great. All right,
Okay.
I'll stay like this.
Let's stick with it. I'm going to stay like this too. We're going to change our format here at Ask Tamily. So, good day, everybody. Good day, Icy. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm sure that people that are joining are confused because Suzanne isn't here, but she got busy, so I am doing the interview today, and I'm not the master interviewer, so we are going to have to just stick together. So, Icy, and it's Icy LeGrand, right?
Yep.
That's your Instagram. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our 8th Ask Tamily interview, which is crazy that we've been doing this for like a couple months now. Let's start with our classic question. When did you start the method, and why did you choose the Tracy Anderson method?
So I learned about, I really learned about Tracy, I want to say like 2007, 2006, and we all kind of started seeing her come onto the scene with Gwyneth Paltrow. And up until 2016, because I was having babies, like that's right when I started, and there were no studios local, and she just had DVDs. There was always, I would look for her stuff in women's health, things like that, and I would incorporate it. But when she started streaming, I think I was just always kind of like, well, I don't think that'll work for me. How am I going to do it with kids at the house? And then finally, I have a really good friend, Leslie, who might be on here. Hi, Leslie, if you're on here. She was my trainer, and then we became friends, and she always worked out at a really intense level, and I kind of liked how she looked and her style. And then when she switched over to Tracy and started streaming, it's amazing. Leslie's body was like perfection, but when she switched over to Tracy, it completely changed her body, and I'm like, what? Okay, I have to pay attention to that. And then, so November of 2016, I pulled the trigger mainly because Miriam's cousin, Harveen, who I'm friends with here in Menlo Park, told me about Miriam, said, just do it, here, check this out. And so I'm like, okay, just like that day I went home and I pulled the trigger. And then I relied heavily on some of the streamers to figure out how to do it. Because there's not, I feel like the one gap that I notice is when you decide to do it, there's so many question marks. There's all these really important secrets or tools that are not like somehow communicated. So the Tamily is super important because that's how we all get up to speed. But November of 2016 is when I went all in, and with Loretta's encouragement, she's like, just drop everything else, give it 90 days, which was really hard to do. But after those 90 days, I was all in.
That's fantastic. Isn't it crazy how small our Tamily is so huge, but the fact that Miriam's cousin lives near you, and it's like,
exactly, small world. And I don't know, had not those pieces come together, I don't know. I mean, if I would have done it. It's hard to work out at home. Sorry for my giant hand and the thing. It's hard to work out at home, especially with little kids and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So how do you make time during your day? Do you work out in the morning or afternoon, or do you have a schedule? How do you make time for your workout?
When I first started, I did it during nap time. So I've always worked out probably every day, and it's always been completely non-negotiable, and my family knows that. So, and I find that if I put the workout later in the day, it's easy for things to get in the way, so I don't like that. So when I first started, I had to do it at nap time. There was no other way. But now that Bo's older, like right when the kids are off, I go in at like 9:15 and I just get it done.
Yeah.
And when it's school time or vacation, I plan for it. I know what I'm going to do. And I'll either communicate that to them if I have everyone on top of me, or like on the weekends, we have 3 soccer games today, and so I will get up and be like, come here, team. This is how it's working. And then I do it. But it's non-negotiable for me. If you make it optional, then it's very easy for your family, God bless them, to you have young kids and all that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And you're like a rock star of getting it done when you're out of town also. So do you have a different strategy there, or is it just really just that non-negotiable, just it's happening?
It's non-negotiable, and I find that if I don't, especially at this time in my life, if I don't do something for myself like that all day long, I have a lot of energy. So if you don't burn it off, then I'm kind of buzzing all day. But it makes me available for everything else. So that's why I do it. And I, especially it's important. I finally have my husband around. We're all together as a family. It should be pretty easy, and so I make it a priority. But I definitely, I've talked to a couple of the Tamily members that are getting ready to go on big vacation. So when I was in Europe, I was doing it, or Greece, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think when you're going on vacation, you should be on vacation. So I don't necessarily think you need to cart all of your equipment. Who cares if you don't have all this stuff? It's nice if you can stream or record it. And on the days where I don't have everything, I look at it either as active rest, because it feels so different without the gear and the heat and the humidity. Or I look at it let me really sink in, where can I get it in my body in different ways where you're not just surviving to get through the class. Yeah. But I love it. I think it's important. When you take care of your health, or you do something like that for yourself, and you're like, okay, now I can, start my day.
No, I understand. I think we all kind of get that, This is an important part of, we get up, we brush our teeth.
Exactly.
We work out, it's just part of what we do. So what, you talked about your trainer, Leslie, right?
And she might be on here. It's Leslie, I think it's Leslie LaRue or something like that. Leslie, don't know your handle. Tell me what your handle is.
Yeah, put it on here, because I want to follow you too if I don't. Yeah, I have to look sideways, but if I don't Tam, I'm a raving bitch. Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody around me benefits from this. I'm sure your whole family benefits from from the fact that you're consistent. So what? My question was, what results have you seen since you started?
So I mean, I actually think I've seen a lot of results. I think I'm similar to Leslie in that like we both came at it in really great shape. We were working out all the time. We eat pretty well. I mean, her body's next level, but she's like a Loretta. But I definitely saw my whole body change, and even still, I'm seeing now that I'll be 2 years this November. Now I'm really getting more and understanding how to practice it, and so you keep getting the results. But I definitely, like, my whole life, everyone's like, "You're so strong and fit, like you're so healthy." But now I get like, your body looks amazing. You look. So I definitely, and then you can see it in your clothes, and then especially after having 4 kids, and I had a lot of miscarriages, and I think that kind of all Tracy talked about one time, like all the hormones and the up and down in your body, it can all impact you. So, but even like the 4 kids and being 44, I thought, well, is my stomach just always going to look like this, or as I get into my 40s, am I going to get that muffin top? And I don't have that at all. I feel like I'm in the best shape I've probably ever been, which kind of kills me. I'm like, damn, if I had done this when I was 20.
I know. I hear that.
I would have never worried about being in a bathing suit. But yeah, so I feel like a lot. What's interesting is I've always been very obsessed with being like strong and fit and all of that. So I will go see, can I still do pull-ups? Can I still, I go and I check in with like where I used to be and how I used to gauge my strength. And then like I've always played soccer, I still do. I am faster and leaner and more crazy than I've ever been. So her method is so different from the way I always approach fitness and training, but it really works. I mean, I was worried it wouldn't. I was worried like, I'm getting smaller, is my butt gonna slide down my legs? I don't want to be a skinny old lady. I want it to be like strong and fit.
Strong. Yeah. No, I hear you. Yes, it's almost like the fountain of youth. I mean,
totally. Really, that's how it feels.
Yeah. So, what challenges have you faced in the last few years since streaming, or since you started?
Definitely figuring out how to do it.
Yeah.
Because there's not like if you really follow the Tamily, and it's hard to follow everyone, and it's hard to like dig in all the time. Like I feel like it can take over. But you get a lot of tidbits that are important. So my biggest struggle was like, I came into it like I can muscle through anything. Like I just jumped into the master class and doing dance cardio, and it was like barreling through, but not at all kind of approaching it how she wants us to. So now I have that figured out. But the learning curve was big, and a lot of it comes from you have to be consistent, but 50% was like talking to people and asking questions and not being worried about if you're bugging them. That's probably why the vitality weeks are so critical if you're not ever in the studio, because what you get from that really informs your practice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So have you been to Vitality Week?
So I went to the one in San Diego, but Tracy wasn't there.
That's right.
And I think there was, there's a lot of rumors circling that time in Tracy's life. And so I felt like the vibe and everything was off. We lost a lot of people who would have gone. So I don't at all consider it to be like what a normal Vitality weekend looks like or feels like. Mm-hmm. But we got to meet the 2 Marias, and we got to meet Julie, and the people who were there really showed up in a big way. So it was still awesome, and I took as much learning from that as I could, but I definitely want to go to one where everyone's there. I want to go to one where it's like, party time and everyone's, the enthusiasm I think was a little different.
Yeah.
But so I went, but I really I went with the questions about like my core and like, is my stomach out, like, can I change my stomach, those sorts of things. And Maria, I think it's Kelly, gave me great feedback, and I used it all, and like I instantly saw a lot of changes in my body, and I still am, like over the last couple months. And then someone told me, I think it was May, posted about the Tracy Anderson online Insta account, whatever that account name is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that we can connect with them and get information. So that's been really great too. I don't need to talk to someone every day, but I want to make sure, like, am I getting where I need to get?
Mm-hmm. So what advice did Maria give you for your core? Because I would love to, like, know that.
Okay, she told me, so my biggest physical, when I look at I definitely, like, put up videos that make me look great. Or, you know, you pick the ones that you think where you, like, look the best. Or
yeah.
But I always tell people, like, because you'll get a lot of feedback from people, like, oh, you look X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, hey, I look normal in real life. But so I went to her, and I'm like, okay, I felt like she told me, I'm like, I don't need to give you details about my stomach, but she told me to really drop my hips when I'm doing any kind of planking, like, let the lower back come into play more. I was really trying to hold it, without trying to hold everything on my shoulders, but also kind of in my chest and my shoulder girdle. Like, I'm really strong there.
Yeah.
But I was never going into my lower back, and even though I might try and hold in my abs, when you're doing, like, plank after plank after plank, they pop out, especially, like, with your breathing. You have to, and even if you do 5 reps, like, eventually. So she was like, let the lower back come in, really drop your hips. Also make sure the heat is way up. And I want to say I've had, like, kind of, like, some mixed feedback on that heat thing, but just dropping my hips and throwing it into my lower back, she said it's going to pull in. You know, those muscles are going to pull up your butt, pull in. It's like a corset around that area, and it definitely really worked. I saw a lot of changes in that stomach area, the core. And I do feel like it's more pulled in tight, flat. I'm chasing Leslie and Loretta's abs, and this was, like, great feedback for that.
Yeah, that's fantastic, because I have the same, like, you know, I've been doing this for years, and I asked Tracy about it at a Vitality Week. She's like, and, you know, it was, like, busy times and stuff, but it's really good to know, just...
Yes, really drop my hips. Mm-hmm. And when you do drop your hips, I do feel my stomach pull in more. Yeah. And it's not to, like, sway back, but it's to really let those muscles activate. And I do think the activation, my spine on my lower back is, like, crazy strong and tight, which kind of feels good. Like, you know, as we're aging up.
Yeah.
But, let me know if you do that for a couple weeks, what you think.
I will. I'm going to try it out. So thank you for that. Fantastic advice. Let's see here. See, this is where Suzanne is fantastic. She can just roll with it. What's your favorite thing about the method?
Oh, the mental Olympics.
Yeah.
There's no zoning out. And yeah, I really like to be challenged. I think physically I can always rise to the occasion, but the adding in so much mental awareness has been exciting for me. And, like, every week I'm trying something new, learning something, mastering it, or every week it builds. Like, we're always going on top of the next, which I don't know if I've ever had such a focused program. Like, you know, you train for running events or things like that, but it's so different. So I like how engaged I am.
Yeah.
And I need to be right now. I think of it like as a CrossFit every day. You know? Like, yeah.
It's, well, that kind of goes into why is your workout important to you? You know, it's balance.
I started working. My dad was always very physical, and I liked that about him. He was very strong. But I grew up with a mom who was really, really sick, and for me, part of that I thought was always a choice. Like, she chose to be. So I was always like, I'll never be like that. I will always choose to be strong and choose. It's never, for me, it hasn't, plus I have the energy, but it's never, there's a little bit of vanity to it. I do like looking good and feeling good and, like, knowing I'm taking good care of myself, and it shows. But it's also been about, like, I always want to be alive. You're either, someone once said, it sounds gross, but you're either living or dying, and I kind of agree with that. Like, I'm either waking up and attacking the day, or, you know, you're kind of, I don't know. But it's important to me for vitality, like, you know?
Yep. That is, I think...
Risa! My sister's going.
So before we did this interview, I went on your IG account, and I followed you for a long time, but your quote of this, be sure you do not find the happy life, you make it, is, like, fantastic, like, gives me chills, fantastic. And I think, you know, that sort of plays into how important all of this is, because you have to reach for it. It's not just going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually, I think that was one of the questions, and that would have been the quote that I chose because it's been with me my whole life. I just found that quote maybe like 3 years ago and put it on my Instagram account, made a magnet. Like I loved it. It really spoke to me. But I've always thought that your mind sets tone for everything, whether it's like how I can show up for myself physically or what I'm going to do with my day. And I tell it to my kids too. Like, I can't make you happy. You got to make yourself happy. If you're bored, that's a choice. Like, what we choose to experience in this life is what we choose. I'm not like some days you're gonna be down, and some days you're gonna have feelings and all that kind of stuff, and that's fine. And you gotta allow yourself to have those moments too. But really, I try to like make my mind right. Whatever that means for one personally, but you know.
I think it's fantastic and seriously inspirational to me. So, if you're okay with that, I'm gonna borrow your quote.
Do it. If you Google it, it says who the author is of that. I have it written down somewhere, but I don't know. I should have found out.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It's just like, I mean,
Hersha.
That's the key. Everybody's on here.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think Leslie was here too.
Yeah, she was. She's at a party too, but she's trying to like sneak it.
So what do how does your family feel about your workouts?
So what's great is that my husband, Bert, he's always been super athletic. He's sort of an extreme sport, he's an extreme sports guy. Mm-hmm. And so he every day, he was like me when we met, every day he works out, like, and for him it's non-negotiable. We approach every week and every weekend, especially now with the 4 kids and their schedules. But it's, you didn't have kids, it's like, who cares? But so we're always like, okay, when is my slot? When is your slot? And I want him we both have to do it, or we're both not available to each other or the kids. So Bert's very supportive, and he had a big injury. He had a couple big injuries last year, and he was grounded, and he started doing Tracy Anderson method. For a couple months, and so now he's back out in the world and doing everything. But it was funny, like, he really leaned on it, and I think it was great for his brain. But the kids have always seen that, and the kids know, like, it's just movement. Like, you're at school all day playing, we don't get to carve out that same kind of time, so we just make this, we try to feed it. I'm with them all day and we're talking. And sometimes if I, like, days when, on the weekend, if I make it, like when I'm in soccer season, I'll do soccer and Tracy, and the kids will be like, well, that's a lot. And I try to put language around it that lets them understand, like, this is balance, this is just self-care. Same like with food. We don't talk about food at all other than food is fuel, and what's on your plate, and how are you fueling your, what you have to do today. I want them to understand, like, it's really good, and you should take care of yourself this way. But not should. I don't want them to think they have to. They don't have to be okay, but everybody's really supportive. And like this morning, Delphine wanted to be in here for half the time, and so they come in and out. I do scream shut the door a lot because my room, I'm like, don't let out my heat. But they're really supportive, which I like. I think seeing my dad do that every day really impacted me, and I think them seeing me and Bert do this will really impact them in a positive way. Yeah, it's a critical part of, like, being alive. You can't just eat well. You can't just get rest. All of these things have to come together.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you're one smart cookie. We are flying through this. So we talked about your routine, your philosophy, your motivational quote. Is there anything that you want to share with us that, with the Tamily about yourself that, maybe we don't see through Instagram?
Yeah, I think that Instagram, it can be sort of this weird, I'm making real connections. It's girls or women that I really connected with, and I love that. Like, Rachel is my super OCD queen, and we really connect on that. Or there's this girl, Catherine. So I love, there are some parts that are real, but a lot of it I feel like it's fun and it's a good way to connect, but don't take it too seriously. Don't take what you see, like, it's easy to see some people who are, everyone's doing it their own way, and I don't think we're supposed to match each other. Yeah. So I think constantly about, like, what's going on in my own head, and stay in my own lane and do not take it too seriously. And so sometimes too, I check in and out of posting. I want to post because I want to participate, but it can kind of take over.
Yeah, it can.
So, yeah, like when people come at me and stuff, I'm like, just remember it's not that real. It's not that it's fake. You know, it's not, like, what you see isn't necessarily what's going on behind closed doors, but yeah, so I just think about that, and I also think about, like, I have this, like, really high energy, and so I approach the method with that, but that's like, two of my sisters, I have 3 sisters and a brother, but, like, 2 of them are doing it, and they do it very differently, and when we talk about it, I'm like, as well you should. You're not me. You are not wired like me. So I just like people to think about that. We're not supposed to be like each other. We're just supposed to show up for ourselves however we can in whatever way we can.
Right. And just be, you know, positive role models for each other, for ourselves, for the people.
And I have to say, too, like, there's so many women, like yourself, Susie, like, I could make a list. There's so many women, Shosh, Loretta, like, Miriam, there's so many women, like, I'm so impressed with everybody, like, I love the idea of a village and, this sisterhood and community, and you really get to experience that here. And there's all different types. And some people come and really share everything and lean on each other. And I think all of that's really awesome. As a woman, I value that. Because I'm not someone who's really going to, like, go seek out support and community. I like to hold stuff in.
Yep.
And so I love seeing that and experiencing that. It's been really nice for me. Especially being, like, a stay-at-home mom right now. I mean, this has been great.
Yeah, it's a tribe. We're a community. I mean, that's sure. It's the real deal. But yeah, it is, you know, we're posting our highlight reel. So don't play the compare game, you know.
Totally, yeah.
Individuals, and we all have a different journey and a different story.
Yeah, and I don't think everyone's necessarily going to get the same results. We don't all end up looking like Tracy. So also that's sort of important. Like, some people's, I think my body is the shape it is because that's just my DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I take care of it, I eat pretty good, but it's, there's a lot of people probably doing the same, and there's a different shape, and that's okay. We're not all supposed to be 5 foot and whatever amazing size that Tracy is. Yeah.
We are not Tracy, and we don't work out.
You shouldn't even want to be. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So what, do you have any advice for somebody that is just starting out with the method?
Well, okay, so one thing that I noticed, so I have a lot of friends who joined, and the one thing that I noticed is people, like, you really need to go in and dig around the site. There are all these different parts and content, and I think even if you don't do it all, like, go look at it. You don't need to, like, watch the whole masterclass, but understand what these tabs are and what's in the tabs. I definitely felt like the Ask Tracy is informing my practice, and like, how I, you know, like, she talked a lot about the energy stuff, which I love. That really, I think I was for a long time doing arms, like, without the same, you know, energy that she kind of demonstrates in some of her Ask Tracy, you know, answer Q&A. So look at everything. I do think people should do more of pay attention to the Ask Tracy. I know it's time consuming. I try to do it, like, when I'm folding laundry, or sometimes I just have it on the background. But I think really look through the site. I'm someone who likes to just pick a lane and stay in it. I'm very black and white and kind of methodical. But if that is not your jam, then, like, for my sister Risa, she only has so much time. She's working, she has a kid, she has a gnarly commute. So I'm like, okay, if time is your issue, these are all the different ways you can achieve what you want. So yeah, I just would dig through there and then think, you know, give yourself permission to, you know, just, like, do the multitask or just do the art. You know, I see people doing that, and that's great. I'm always so impressed. I'm like, oh, they're rule breakers, but good for them.
What about, how do you stay motivated? So on days, I'm sure you have days where you just, like, it feels like it can't happen. So how do you process that through? What advice would you give somebody who's struggling to stay motivated?
Well, definitely the results are enough motivation for me to, like, and I know for myself, if I don't move, I'm not pleasant to be around, so I know I'm probably going to do something anyways. So that keeps me motivated. Like, do I want to have a whole day where I feel like a cabin fever if I don't work out. And this was like pre-Tracy. I'm just wired like that. So in those days, I'm like, well, okay. Or I'll tell myself, I'm going to do it with the fan on the whole time. Like, I'll tell myself, I'm going to cheat. And then, or what I consider to be cheating. I'm going to make it cool. It's going to be great. So giving myself permission to, like, maybe half-ass it, but then usually when you start, nobody half-asses it. I also I like the idea of modeling this, like, for my kids, so that keeps me on track. But yeah, like, during the winter is hard for me because it's cold. And
I know, yeah.
And you're tired, so that's when it's critical for me to do it in the morning. And then also just to think, I know no one, it's like nice that my jeans fit. It's nice, that's the one thing too. Like I never did hot workouts.
Yeah.
So I've become I'm so, like, you never carry on water weight. If you're able to do the heat and humidity, you're doing so much sweating. I think about that. I'm like, do you want to have a puffy day? Probably not. Do you want your jeans just to slip right on? Yes. And also, what motivates me is I allow myself to eat and drink whatever I want. Although I tend to make, like, really healthy choices 90% of the time. But so I'm like, so this is how you balance it out. So I like balance. I like the idea of balance in my life. So those things motivate me. It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of choosing. And it's a lot of, like you said, I don't know where I heard the brushing teeth thing, but you said it too. I've heard that before. And I like that. Like, I'm not going to go all day without brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think Tracy said it at a Vitality Week or something. She's like, you're going to brush your teeth, so why wouldn't you work out?
Right. And I like that idea. That was a new idea to me when I started doing the Tamily, like, to approach fitness in that way. I did it for other reasons, but not just like, this is a part of, like waking up and stretching and yawning and hitting your day. You move your body a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, do you have any particular Tamily members that are particularly inspirational?
Yes. Well, I love all of them. I definitely love, so there's a couple girls that are really, like, Catherine is one. There's this woman, her name might be Gina, but her handle's like GML or I don't know. But there's some women that are like so, their sense of humor is just like mine. There's not a lot of snarky people out there, or people who like wear their snark on their sleeve like I do.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of my posts are either like self-effaced. I'm always trying to laugh or do something not shocking, but I want people to like not take things too seriously. So I love those. Right. It's nice to know like that I'm not the only clown out there. So I love women like that are really powerful and strong and come across that way. But mostly I think too, seeing all these like moms and professionals, and I mean it's hard just to pick one. Oh, here comes one of my kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think I answered that. And also Leslie, I've known her forever. I got to call her out again. And my sister. Yep. But Leslie, I've known her now for, let's see, I don't know, Leslie, it's maybe been 15 years or just under. So you can't stand there. It's too distracting. Sorry. She's got like the door open and one foot in and two eyeballs. She's probably been someone who, like, I'll look back when I'm super old and be like, wow, she really had a powerful impact on my life, definitely in my fitness, but then she's so much younger than me, but she's got this really strong personality. She's probably an old soul, but like, she commands a room, and so I've learned a lot from her, and I love that. I love what she's taught me, and she still informs me on like how to take care of myself, and we have such a good friendship. So love you, Leslie. She's been she's probably not on here anymore.
She's probably not, no.
But she's been really inspirational and motivational for me, and she has shown up for me. Like, every time she moved to Austin recently, and every time she comes to town, we get together and we work out, and I just love her.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I'm gonna have to find her. If you do remember her, do you know her name?
I think she was on here. I'm gonna flip the screen really quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Questions.
Hi, Aggie.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so she is. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Miriam. Hi, Laura.
I'm so glad Miriam got to to join one of these live. We're going to have to do this middle
We
of
have
the day
to.
West Coast thing.
Here, Leslie's handle is LaRue Callie. LaRueCali.
Okay.
I'm looking really quick to see if there are any questions.
Yes, please. I'm terrible at this. Aggie, you always have fantastic questions. So maybe while you're looking at that, Aggie had a question for, I think it was Mara, that what did you want to do when you were growing up, and do you still want to be that, or do you still want to do that?
What did I want to be when I was growing up? That is a great question. So you know what? Let me get my giant hand out of the screen. Hold on. I didn't think a lot about what I wanted to be when I grew up. I just knew I had to go to college. And I always worked, even in high school and throughout college. So I was kind of like one step in front of the other. And then I naturally fell into sales. And I mean, I didn't even know like marketing, corporate sales was, I didn't even think of that as an option. My mom was stay at home and my dad was a pilot. So maybe it just wasn't like brought up. But I loved sales. And after I had my second kid, I was switching jobs and a couple things shifted, and there was one moment when one of my older kids who was in childcare, because I quit working right after I had Vivian, so she hadn't gone into childcare yet. But I remember thinking like, oh, look, Estelle's with her real mommies, like the ones. Which, by the way, is not to say that kids shouldn't go into childcare at all. But I really felt like, oh, these women who are spending all their time with her, they really are like her second mom, and I loved them, and I was appreciative of that. But when things kind of shifted after I had Vivian, I'm like, okay, well, I think I can stay home for a while, which, by the way, was really hard. That was a crazy transition, and now I'm starting to think about going back. But I didn't really think about what I wanted to be when I grew up, other than maybe like cooking and chefing, because I love that. But there's not a lot of money, and there's not a lot of family time. And then also the physical fitness thing did come up for me, and I did some training, but there's not a lot of money unless you're like a fitness celebrity. So I live in Silicon Valley. Money is like something you think about if you want to have a house. So finances kind of drove some of my choices. But I was in sales. I'll go back to sales. It happened naturally, and I really, really loved it. I'm perfect for it because I can talk a lot of things. Like walking into a room with strangers doesn't faze me at all.
That's awesome, because it kills me. I am so the behind the scenes, like, I will support everybody else, but please don't put me out there.
Oh, yeah. So where I'm like, anyone can like push me to the front. I'm like, all right, guys, I got this. Let's do it.
That's fantastic. Okay, so Aggie has a question coming. Let's see here. You dance, right? You do dance cardio.
So I did dance cardio the first 6 weeks, like every day with masterclass, and I felt like that was really hard to do those like 90-ish minutes. And then I started to back off. So sometimes I love that she has multitask now, because that's about where my dance level is at. But it's not something that I love. And so one thing I try to remember is, I really love running. I really love soccer. So and then I also don't feel like I necessarily have weight to lose. Mm-hmm. So I'm adding on the bonus glute or whatever. Some people shift it. Oh my God, here comes another person cooking in. Bye, have a good rest.
That's okay.
Okay, all right. Family.
It's real life, guys.
But so shut the door. Yes. So no, I don't do a lot of dance cardio, but I will sometimes. Right now, maybe like once every other week, I'll either do a full class or like literally 4 minutes, just whatever I can handle. I'm either like super spent after masterclass, because it's not like I couldn't put in the time, but I just don't totally gravitate towards it. It's fun when you do, but it's like not my jam.
Yeah.
So the long answer is no.
Nope, I gotcha. Okay, Aggie, do you find yourself influencing the world, or do you feel like the world is influencing you? You're amazing, Aggie.
That's interesting. So I do feel like I influence a lot of people around me, but then I'm always seeking to be influenced by people I admire. But I'm not easily influenced, I would say. I tend to I have my mind made up a lot. but I will seek it out. And when I see someone who really appeals to me, then maybe I'll kind of dig in more. Or so I'm always open to learning, growing, and all of that. But I feel like I'm more. Sorry, my calendar's up. I feel like I influence.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm, because I'm usually like the loudest voice in the room. Surprise. But I came from a big family, and I was always like the one kind of leading the charge. And not because I'm great or doing anything great or that interesting or that amazing, but
I think you're great and interesting. And
thank you.
Those are always fantastic questions.
Yeah, thank you.
So you live on the West Coast, right?
Yep. I'm in Silicon Valley, California, in Menlo Park. I love it here. It's funny, I'm constantly complaining about the weather, which cracks me up because I don't know if there could be better weather anywhere.
Yeah.
But I really love it here. I tried to move to Florida because my dad and my twin sister were there for a while, but I came right back.
Yeah, California.
Just born and raised.
Yep. That's kind of all of our questions that we have. Is there anything else? Let me just run through Suzanne's list here.
Okay. Then I'm going to look and see if there's any questions.
Okay. Thank you. We're doing this together. Motivated. Do you have any tips? We kind of covered like everything. It's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very kind of unsure about doing this because I'm like, what do I have to bring to the table? But then I remembered like we're all just at the table kind of chit-chatting. It's like talking to a girlfriend. But I have to say I love everyone out there.
Yes, definitely.
Totally following everyone. Even if there's so many people that we get connected with, I find it hard to like give feedback to everybody, or I would always have my head down on my phone, which I don't want. But I love everyone. I love this community. Thank you. I'm so happy you guys created this Ask Tamily.
It's Suzanne just had this amazing idea, and we just kind of ran with it. And I mean, it's been like funky in the beginning, but I think it's fantastic, and I love getting to meet just meet more people in this way. I'd love to meet everybody in person.
Totally, and getting because it's like you have this idea about someone, and then you hear them talking, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. They're a professional. Yeah. So I love it. I think it's awesome, and I'm happy to participate.
Thank you so much. Well, I know you have a busy day, but thank you.
Yeah.
Really
bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Yes, everybody. I know we didn't really have any awesome interview. Both of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, guys. Bye, Nicole. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.